What do you think about the Italian guy kissing the girl? How about that one?
We can do
You've already
that
covered
too.
that in your other podcast, right?
Yes.
I didn't listen to it, but
Yeah, maybe you should.
maybe I should.
Maybe you learned something, Andrew.
Maybe I would. So patronizing. My God. I don't know why I talk to you, Tom. You just treat me like your little bitch, don't you?
But you're the
Yeah.
patriarch. You have to be,
I'm the
everyone's.
patriarch?
Yes. We established that one.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you think of these things?
No, I was just thinking that there's because it harks back to what we talked before. There's a history of unruly psychologists.
Uh-huh.
It was always related to sex. You have Leary, we talked about this. Then you have Willem Reich,
R.D.
also.
Lang, he's one.
And
You know
so,
him?
and though they got thrown into jail, for being
Yeah.
unruly in a kind of
Wilhelm
sense.
Reich and uh-huh.
And so, but they took it and they didn't make big of a fuss about it. And Leary was even, tricking the system with a personality test that he devised on his own. And so it's like I don't get why
Jordan must be under a lot of stress because he's just fighting like mad. He can't put down the gloves, for 5 minutes, it would seem.
Yeah, but what seems strange to me that he's all about, speaking the truth, and the whole thing doesn't seem as the truth to me.
What whole thing?
No, the whole thing that he's fighting the system because he's getting re-educated now, that's, that seems not truthful. If you compare it with other unruly psychologists, he should use his intelligence to be done with it instead of making a fuss about it,
Yeah, so he protests too much. He makes too much of a fuss. Yeah, that's true. That's just who he is. That's his nature. Again, I think who was it? It was John Vervaeke says there's two Jordan Petersons. There's the one who's very insightful in on subjects of psychological subjects and the Bible and mythology and anthropology and very deep, interesting observations.
Yeah.
And then there's the angry guy on Twitter. And I'm not against anger. I think you should express anger at times, but it's just unrelenting for him at the moment. He just doesn't relent.
Yeah.
He never stops. So he never stops the attack on Twitter going, and so it makes me feel like he's cornered in some kind of a way, and it takes away from whatever. Like I have sympathy for him in terms of this court case. I mean, people should be allowed. There should be allowed to be people should be allowed to say what the fuck they think about whatever they think. More or less, and I wouldn't want any government organization, messing with that. But the way he does it, the way he attacks right now, I feel like, I really feel like he's gone into this choleric state, like this fierce, this angry state of mind that's almost constant or something. At least that's how he expresses himself on Twitter, which is kind of a shame and kind of takes away from the skill that he could have in working through these issues. Other times he's quite reasonable, but that's my take.
Pretentious. Anyway. I think he's pretentious when he's doing that.
I don't. I think he's just angry. I don't find him pretentious.
I find it pretentious because he should. I mean, if you just compare it with what Leary did and what Willem Reich did, they found different solution instead of crying in front of the camera or angry crying. So he talks about strengths and then he makes himself the victim. It's all kind of messed up, and
What about what about a lot of people just went insane? At least he's still standing. You have to have sympathy for that sort of being in that kind of. I mean, he does it. He puts himself out there, but he's also subject to millions of projections and opinions and constantly, and could wreck a person, could destroy a person pretty easily. Well, anyway, I'm expressing the sympathy for Jordan here, but
no, but I mean I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying that the right of free speech is never absolute. There are always things.
You're a German though, so
no, but it's like you can't. It's like you can't. It's not an absolute right. There are always instances where the state has to protect certain truths, or for better or worse. There are always instances where you can show that the right of freedom of speech is always not absolute. And so and there are points where society, there's a joke from Louis C.K., when he says, if everybody tells you you're an asshole, you can't just say, oh no, that's not me, it's you. And so there's a corrective.
But the problem,
I mean, everybody has the right to voice their own opinion, but if the society or parts of society says, okay, maybe you take a step back, and reevaluate, and because you're not the one who decides about the fate of our society, the society has to do that. And then to say, no, it is up to me, that is pretentious.
Yeah, but have you had to take one of those university tests about whether you're a rapist or not? I've had to take those tests. They're so stupid. They're so demeaning. They're so completely removed from intelligence, right? These kind of politically correct tests, they treat you like children. They don't talk to you as a human being. So I can understand kind of where the rage is coming from, I think. I mean, if you look at, let's say the way that the bureaucratization of care, as Ivan Illich would put it, is a very Maoist, canceling force, and I think he's subject to that. And if somebody would try to take away your profession, whether you were a billionaire or not, because of something you said on Twitter, you might be a little bit upset or, or enraged, I would say. But again, he is a public figure and he's responsible for how he behaves and that sort of thing. So,
sure, but then if you compare it to Leary, he had to take the same test, and he used the test to play the game and not be in a victim stance. Leary never went into a victim stance, but always had moves to make. And so this is all that I'm saying, that the message that Peterson is putting out is kind of it's kind of contradictory, because he says be strong, but then he claims himself to be the victim of the system. Then he says speak the truth, but then he does the thing for clicks. And I get what you're saying. There's a truthful, insightful Peterson, and I see that too. I'm not saying that this aspect is not there, but I'm saying that the other aspect, this public persona, that's not completely attuned. And he's all about self-alignment.
Oh, he's not completely attuned, but who would be in his circumstances?
But you should be. If you're putting out a message, you should try to be as honest and authentic about that thing as you could.
Well, I think he tries to do that. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he fails a lot. That's all. Or maybe he's just been pushed over the edge so many times maybe he's been captured by his audience, and maybe he's become a persona.
Which would be pretentious, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, again, I wouldn't accuse him I would accuse him of perhaps. I don't think I think he tries his best to be authentic anyway, even if he's pretentious at times. Yeah, but.
No, I get
anyway, I'm more forgiving of him than you are. That's all.
No, it's like, no. If you look, I'm not judging him as a human being. We're all struggling, right?
Yeah,
I'm not talking about this kind of thing, about this level. I'm talking about his public persona, and he chooses to play that game. And if you choose to play that game, you have to be judged by the game you're playing, right?
Mhm.
And that's all that I'm saying. I'm not talking about the person that's cooking dinner for his family, right? I'm talking about the person who wears a two-colored suit, and cries in front of the camera. There's two different things.
Yeah. But again, to defend him, who else cries in front of the camera? Nobody ever expresses emotion. And people are so lost in their persona. Maybe there's an authenticity to that. Yeah, I mean, having actual emotion, in front of a camera, like nobody does that. So
you never have the feeling that he uses that, to make a point. Is it, it's like there's always something off. It seems like a performance at times.
I don't know.
No?
I don't know.
No, I don't know either. We're just talking impressions, intuitions.
Well, like when he cries, I think when the times that I've seen him cry, it's usually over young guys that he meets, and it's kind of like, what the fuck is going on? And he sorts of, maybe he's seeing himself in there a bit. It seems like a genuine moment to me.
Yeah.
But if I sometimes at the moment his Twitter attacks seem to be like he seems to have gone a little bit into a permanent state of anger, and that's the critique I would have, not of his expressing vulnerability or whatever. Even if I don't know if it's a fake vulnerability or not, like maybe I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's fake. I think but maybe he doesn't have control over that in certain moments, and